Hey guys, welcome back. DeFi, degens, Strip, and Farm for Property. I'm your host, Strip Coach, dropping knowledge bombs on all Forex Shark related projects. And in today's video, we got a requested video from about 2 or 3 people in the comments regarding impermanent loss. And I know a lot of you may already be familiar with impermanent loss, and some of you may be brand new to crypto and specifically yield farming and may not even be aware that this exists. So I'm going to try to give a very brief overview of it, and if it's something you want a deeper dive in, then I can do that at a later time. So first off, whenever you are before we get into the definition of impermanent loss, you got to look at where that actually comes from. So whenever you are adding liquidity to a pool, like a liquidity pool, you are basically providing that ability for those assets to be sold and traded amongst other people. So that is what's known in DeFi as a automated market maker. So that's what PancakeSwap actually is an automated market maker. We don't have those capabilities here. We're actually lending this to PancakeSwap, but an automated market maker is basically acting like a centralized exchange, but instead of an industry or institution behind it, it's actually just math and code. And what I mean by that is that the math or the contracts ensure that there is an equal balance between the two assets that are being created. So for example, with BNB, we know that BNB is, $300. That means to have an equal balance, you need, for one LP, you would need the exact same amount of BUSD. So it's constantly balancing these pools so that there's equal ratios of both of these tokens. And that's what the automated market maker does. Now, the actual liquidity provider is any one of us who want to add additional liquidity to this in exchange for getting paid out a percentage of the transaction fees, basically, that happen within the pool. So the more you provide, then the bigger your share of those fees actually are. So when all things, if they worked like if traditional finance worked like this, then it'd be like the way you give your money to the bank. And if they only loaned out what they were given, and then they actually gave you a percentage of that, then it would be a happy world. But instead, they take your money, loan it out, and then give you an IOU, and then loan out like all of that money with leverage. So that's why DeFi is actually the solution, and it has come up in recent articles based off of the FTX fallout, because DeFi is showing stability where CeFi is literally showing the vulnerabilities and the fraud and scams and stuff. So anyway, so we are adding liquidity to PancakeSwap, even though you see, I mentioned this already on my channel, so I'm not gonna go into this, but you look like you're staking here, but in reality, this interface is actually just depositing you into one of the same pools on the back end here. If you want more details, watch my other videos on the channel about that. So we are liquidity providers to PancakeSwap, which is an automated market maker and the largest automated market maker on the Binance Smart Chain. So what is impermanent loss then? So impermanent loss, basically, let's get the actual definition. It occurs when the total worth of all the cryptocurrency holdings deposited by a liquidity provider into a pool starts to differ from the total worth when first deposited. What is that in layman's terms? Glad you asked. Well, let's look for Cake USDT. That's the easiest way to look at this. All right, so here we have Cake USDT. Right now we know that Cake is about $4. Doesn't show, there it is, $3.94, right? So we'll say $4. So what they're saying your impermanent loss is if you were to get a full LP token in here, you would have to have 4 USDT to every 1 Cake, right? Because this has to be equal. Now, if Cake goes up, let's just say it goes from 4 to 8, that means it doubled. But because you are paired with USDT, you actually don't see all of that price appreciation that happens with the Cake token. There are calculators that I'm going to show later to show you exactly what that actually impermanent loss is. But basically what it's saying is if you had just only held Cake and only held USDT, obviously USDT doesn't go anywhere. but your cake would have 2x, and if you sold it all, you would have a 2x on your investment. But since you paired it with a stable coin, it actually shielded you from some of that upside potential, and you wouldn't have an 8 or a 2x ratio, $8 worth of cake and $8 of USDT, because you paired it so it's stable in that regard. But while you're in here, you're actually earning cake, so it's hard to say whether or not you are actually suffering impermanent loss, because you only see that permanent side of the loss when you actually sell the asset. So if cake goes back down to 4, then you'd actually be right back where you started, but you earned the cake in this case from the transactions that take place. So there's a calculator here that we're going to go into just to give you an example of what that looks like. And this is by Whiteboard Crypto. This is where I got my knowledge from in the very, very beginnings of my DeFi journey. They do a great job with whiteboard animations and covering everything. So I looked at a lot. I think I watched all their videos, and that really gave me a good foundation. So definitely check them out if you're interested in learning other things. But anyway, let's jump back into the definition a bit and then show you the calculator so you can actually understand this. So there's no right answer here. Is impermanent loss really a loss? No right answer here, as it would depend on how you look at it. Technically, even if you do happen to undergo impermanent loss, you should still be net positive, with some of the profits coming from the LP rewards and transaction fees. So especially when we're looking at the farms here, remember we're earning the dog token, and that dog token, the way Forex set the transaction fees, the tax fees, is that it will pretty much appreciate long term because it can't really be dumped. Now, the more volatile the assets you pair, the more likely you are going to see impermanent loss, such as BTC and ETH. And what I mean by that is there are, let's look at the examples they gave here, 3 ways you will get wrecked with impermanent loss. 1, if one token drastically increases in price, if one token drastically decreases in price, if one token increases while the other decreases. So when you look at the most volatile or most likely to receive impermanent loss in these equations would be something like BTC and ETH. We know those swing violently every day, and even ETH and Wrap BNB, because those are basically 2 altcoins that are reflective of BTC. So remember the 3 examples. If one goes up dramatically, then you don't see that upside, like what I said with the cake in USDT example, or one goes down dramatically, or they go in opposite directions. That's definitely what would happen in Bitcoin and ETH. Or chances are they probably would both go up, but not at the same clip, so you still would lose out as well. And the way you minimize your risk, if 2 tokens eventually return to the price you initially provided liquidity for, or if 2 tokens increase or decrease at the same rate. So that being said, your absolute best places to earn yield are in these stable coin pairs. So you got TUSD and BUSD at 180% APR, DAI BUSD, USDC and BUSD. So all these are well over 100% APR, and they are extremely stable because they are stable coins. Now we have seen some of these depeg. I believe as we move forward, you should see less volatility on your stable coins and more stability, especially if this Stablecoin Transparency Act gets passed. It would definitely affect these 3. These 3, as far as I'm aware, fall into that bucket of actually being audited already every 30 days and having the reserves backed by either treasury bills or physical cash in the bank. So that means you would have very little impermanent loss, if none at all, but you would still be getting paid out these dogs at a very high clip. Just a quick message, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. This helps bring brand awareness to the channel, as well as all Forex Shark related projects. Thank you. Now let's look at the calculator for easy examples. So I'm going to use that cake BUSD example I said before. So right now the impermanent loss is 0%, right? Because USDT is $1. Its ending price is going to be $1. But let's just say cake starts at 4, but it ends at 8. You would have lost 5.72%. If you had kept them separate, like I said, you would actually 2x your investment. But because it went up and it was tied to a stable coin, you lose about 5.7%. Now, the same thing happens in reverse. That's usually why you want to get into a farm, is you want to, especially in a bear market, you want to offset the risk of the token dropping in price. So if it goes down 50%, you still only lose 5.72% versus what you would have lost had you held it by itself. So as I was saying, especially in a bear market, having your asset paired to a stable coin is, if you're bullish on the asset, can shield you against that impermanent loss while earning a dividend in the liquidity pool rewards token, which in this case is dogs. So let's just go to ETH. A lot of people are bullish on ETH. So right now, if we are still in this bear market, we haven't quite found the bottom, as so the analysts say. That means ETH could go down. And as I showed you in this example, if it cuts by 50%, then you being paired with a stable coin can actually offset some of that volatility. So in this case, in a bear market, I think the absolute best thing, not financial advice, of course, that you can do is pair any of your bullish long-term assets with stable coins. So BTC and BUSD, USDC and Wrap BNB, and ETH USDC. So all of these would protect you from the downside volatility. Now, if or when the bear market ends, it's still going to be a while to climb out of the hole, but you want to be able to see all that price appreciation. Again, the same exact thing. If this goes up a 3x, you have lost 13%. You didn't gain that actual 3x on your investment. And the higher this goes up, that it's paired with a stable coin, the more you lose, because you are, again, paired to that stable coin, and it has to maintain that balance in the liquidity pool. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, if you want me to go deeper in depth on this, I can do that in another video, but just wanted to give you guys some insight as to how automated market makers work, liquidity pool works, and how you, as a providing liquidity, are rewarded for that. And right now, some of the best things you can do is be in stable coins. You can just go straight to the pool, actually, if you want to be without pairing with multiple. You can just come in here and get a single asset and stake. That's what I'm doing right now, use this as my savings account. But if you want to have a higher APR, farms usually provide higher APRs due to that impermanent loss and the fact that it's providing liquidity to an actual market maker. Right now, there is no liquidity from the pool side. That's what Forex is working on. So you're rewarded a little bit better because of that. So just some food for thought. I think that's all I wanted to cover here. I think they give two things to mitigate your losses. No, that's it. Yeah. So if you want to learn a lot, check out the Whiteboard Crypto YouTube channel. Man, they have some really amazing videos. I went through their actual course as well when I got started. It was like a couple bucks a month. And then I just watched all the videos within like 1 month and they canceled. But definitely good if you're just getting started in your journey to understand all of the different vernacular in crypto and in DeFi. So if you guys want a deeper dive on impermanent loss or anything like that, drop a comment like below. That same HBO special I always tell you guys about, help a brother out. And until next time, live daily and achieve your impossible. See you.